It was the irony of fate that the development of AI also brought cyber fraud and its development. The figures are really frightening. If you look at the stats, in 2023, the growth of cyber fraud with deepfakes increased 3,000%. And the volume of funds embezzled from our citizens is projected to be 300 billion rubles. We spent almost as much on the Olympic and Paralympic Games in 2014 in Sochi. It looks like there's not a single person left who had not encountered at least one attack of a cyber fraudster, cyber criminal. And increasingly numerous ways to steal funds are emerging. Yet every action breeds a reaction. Well, fortunately, we have been seeing an increasing effort. The security officers have joined the fray, not that they ever left. The projectiles are developed, the armor is developed. AI tools have been developed. They are developing increasingly cooperative ways of interaction, quicker responses, easier workloads for the security services, prediction, as often as not. How do we protect ourselves from cyber criminals, from fraudsters who have been increasingly more actively using technological toolkit? What do we do not to become the victim? Head of forensics at the cybersecurity department of Sber, Nikita Kudryashkin, is today with us, and the PhD, Vladimir Arlazarov, General Director of Smart Engines. Why don't we start with you? Increasingly sophisticated fraud, an increasing number of deepfakes. I encountered that myself. Well, there have been no consequences so far. Hopefully it stays the same. How do we respond? What do the fraudsters come up with increasingly? Well, you obviously cover all fraud perpetrated by remote with the term deepfake. No. I'm only using it to term faking the voice and image. Social engineering and other brute forces, no, that's all outside the remit. Well, what you have mentioned, that produces most figures. That's all the types of fraud by remote in existence in the territory of our country. That's what we have been fighting. And the law enforcement has been reorienting to fight over 70% of fraud done by remote. Some of it, yes, deepfakes, but most of them are still social engineering phishing. The lure of earning income on the internet, the bite that our gullible citizens rise to. And fraudsters are trying to earn the money off ignorance of basic things. You know, most things come from that, and there's also the financial pyramids. When people fall under the influence of certain citizens and invest in pseudo-financing of all kinds of projects, these figures are indeed horrifying. Going back to the deepfakes, that is an existing problem. It has been in existence for the citizens that are completely inattentive, that can't tell a fake from a genuine image or a genuine voice. And we increasingly see that messengers are used. It's an open secret that you can't make a video call on GSM, or you can't, you can't fake a voice, but you can't fake the video on GSM. So that kills off the deepfakes that are videos, the GSM does. Spoofing of mobile phones is now controlled by most telecom operators. All the major telecom operators have been doing this, but you can't limit all the traffic. You can't screen all the calls. You can't screen all the messaging. Let me just sidestep and note that AI is increasingly used to create assistants that will be identifying these deepfakes. This is one of our main tasks. Now, right now, deepfakes are predominantly used by fraudsters attacking people who are busy with something, sleeping, distracted by something, not able to fully respond, catching inattention, immersion in problems, etc. And the strategy of using these deepfakes is distraction. Getting people distracted from the habitual stream of thoughts, habitual alertness mode, people not being able to respond properly. You know, a boss calling you at night. You probably heard about this strategy. You know, our security officer on the case is going to call you right after me. The guy wakes up, brushes off the sleep, can't verify, and there comes the bite. And right after that, there's a massive attack coming. The fraudsters are launching the massive attack from all angles. The deepfakes, a photo arrives, the voice arrives, and then there's the continuous handling, continuous control of the person that rose to the bait. So it's just in the messenger. You can't get a call anywhere else. Only the messenger, not GSM. Well, look, again, fraud, again, you named the statistic. You definitely know this. Most of the calls come from abroad. So it will be a spoofed number. SIM boxes, spoofed number, whatever. We are fighting this together with the telecoms, with the law enforcement. So in most of the cases, there will be no call on the common GSM. You can get that call on the messenger because that's the internet. Well, we have not yet eradicated the story with spoofing, so do stay vigilant, even with respect to the voice calls. And the obvious red flag is anyone calling on the messenger. Well, it's not just about deepfakes, is it? The fraud has been technologically advancing as well, very powerfully, right along with cybersecurity and all its diversity, double-digit growth in cybersecurity capabilities for the past 10-odd years, and in the past year or so, there's been a just dramatic boost. What have the businesses been concentrating on? You know, in fighting fraud? Is that fighting deepfakes, fighting the spoof, voice recognition? How is the business responding? Well, the business is responding with the same broadsides. You know, we specifically have been working with the images, still images, but all kinds of colleagues are working with voice, doing neural networks that tell a synthesized voice from a real voice. And as we work with predominantly images, what we do is we fend off the attack on the vector where someone poses as someone else, or poses with a forged document. You take out a loan for an existing person or for a non-existing person. Well, existing person is now more protected, but about a year ago it was just a scourge. Microfinance organizations used to dish out loans to pretty much anyone. That was a major, dramatic calamity. We've been fighting it, all of us. Deepfakes back then were used as a technology to clear the face recognition technology. The root of this problem is in the development of social networks. Social networks gave a hugely fertile ground, treasure trove of information on imagery of people, leaks of personal data, another source, a common scourge. We have not been standing still. We have been creating technologies of various kinds, not for obviously personal use, but for industrial use, by banks and financial outfits that allow identification of modified images. Well, they can tell whether the image was edited or not, Photoshop or not, AI or not. Well, given what people have been uploading to social networks, there's all kinds of things. Well, yes. Photoshop edited, yes. Well, the first thing to do is tell whether the image was tampered with or synthesized. There are special toolkits. We provide suites that tell an image that was tampered with. So this image is completely screened off. And then there are suites that allow you to tell which field on a passport was tampered with. Sometimes you can, do the digital re-gluing of your photo. Someone's password was stolen, the photo was replaced, and a loan is applied for. Very rare hits, very rare successes. Organizations have been hard on the case, but so have been the fraudsters. The quality of fraud has been really improving. Well, look, let me interrupt. We have started with these horrible projections. Have there been any positive developments? We have been speaking about reactions. Any good examples, positive examples? We know you can identify touched-up photos. What other positive things can you tell us about? Well, if we talk about the technologies, forged documents can be identified pretty effectively. If you changed the surname on the passport, if it was printed out and then taken a picture of, it is a genuine picture, but that is still identified. Last year was the first year after 3 years on end where stats showed a decline on document forgery. For 3 years running, there was an ascendant dynamic. We can only assess these stats on criminal cases. Last year, there was a decline in the number of criminal cases. You should understand that it's just the stats on criminal cases. The amounts of damages have been growing, and the forgeries have been really causing increased suffering, both for individuals and entities. But the fight is ongoing across the board. Nikita, another take from the business. You obviously cannot tell us everything, but what you can tell us, inside a Sber ecosystem, inside Sber as a bank, well, inside Sber as a bank, that is never going to score. Well, very generally, so that the fraudsters, God forbid, may fail to use this information. How do you use AI specifically in cybersecurity? Well, I will not be able to enlist, well, perimeter control, whatever. Well, let me just give you a very broad picture. What is AI and how is it used, AI models, etc., in security? Look, one of the most important things to note, and a colleague did mention that, there's a lot of information around us. There's a lot of information. You have been saying that there's the social networks to mine the data from, the data leaks to mine from. That's what we have been using to train AI to identify people that might be attacked by fraudsters. So we are working on prevention. In other words, we can identify manifestations of forged documents when someone comes with a forged document, not a deepfake, but a forged document, a genuinely bogus document. And we can use the algorithms, we can use the data collected, and AI is helping us here. This person physically cannot be in this particular place, even though we don't know this person. We've got in excess of 100 million people as clients, and about a third have biometric IDs with us. And a lot of people come to Sber just for the sake of this security, this dependability. We have been working with this day in, day out. We identify and help law enforcement with identifications of bogus documents. You have said that there's been a decline on forged passports. Yes, but the forged documents of other countries are now at play. ID cards from adjacent nations. They are simpler to forge, cheaper to forge, and people are trying to use them. We learned to build models, AI models, that can identify a given person, cannot come to us, cannot come to the bank. We are using the wealth of information. Again, why are we using this? We process the wealth of information. Who went where, talked to whom, ordered food, carried food. We process all of this, and the models are built that predict a given event. And We also do the models that forecast credit default probabilities. We use that as well in the cybersecurity department. We also process the knowledge of turmoil in a given city, if there's social strife in a given area. Certain outfits, business outfits closed, people out of work. AI helps us generate an event. A certain company might trigger a default, and that might be a borrower. I've got a naive question, very naive. I'm actually happy that we've got a lot of great applications, banking applications, public services, not just mos.ru. Even the Moscow Electronic School is online in an app. Everything very convenient. Great to use. Data everywhere, personal data everywhere. Cyber fraud. Is that the price we are paying for this convenience, or I'm not exactly correct in saying that cyber fraud would have developed one way or another? It would have. It would have developed. It would have come. You touched upon it. We are security. We are doing all kinds of models. We are doing processes to protect you. We come to work, we think, we brainstorm, we boost projects. We work on hypotheses, and we do this during the daytime, and criminals do this at night. They are free to do that, and we need to stay one step ahead, but they are trying to innovate quicker than we do. So they will always try to exploit new technologies. If there had been no internet, if there were none of that, it was a naive question, yes, but people would have been trying to rob cash collectors. Right now, cash collectors are not really robbed because, street crime pretty much went down dramatically. Crime can be done by remote. You can do a crime in Russia without being in Russia. Remember those armored cars of cash collectors? They are armed. If you rob a cash collector, you might get a bullet. You can't get a bullet if you hoax someone on the phone, or if you divert a cargo, you can't be fired at. And if you are doing this from abroad, you will not be criminally pursued. This is eternal competition between armor and armor-piercing rounds. Sometimes armor has to react to unexpected challenges. You're probably doing this threat intelligence, threat forecasting. What new things are you expecting? Deepfakes are obviously unknown. Me personally, I've not really seen much seamless experience in using this app that counters deepfakes, but perhaps new threats emerging? How do you assess the future in general? How do you not become too thin an armor for a completely new armor-piercing round? Everyone is using banking by remote these days. People are not really going to the banks, or at least they are going differently to the banks. And criminals are trying to find new inroads, new breaches, new chinks. How can we warn our viewership? Well, we can be scientific, and we are scientific. We are using the modern technologies to identify vulnerabilities. Even if they are not exploited, we are thinking up vulnerabilities. White hacking? Well, we're not exactly hacking. We're trying to predict the tools that the fraudsters might use to forge certain assets, just based on where the technology is going. Based on the knowledge of physics, based on consulting the banks, consulting the law enforcement that issues protected documents. We have said that foreign documents are easier to forge. That depends on the country, the issuing country. Asian countries, yes, easier to forge. European countries, no. They've got powerful protections. But here it's more about psychological problems. You can't be an operator that knows all the protections of all the documents. IDs these days, basic IDs, mind you, will be about 4,000 or 5,000 types worldwide. Yes, worldwide. And a lot of documents are taken, are accepted by the banks. Foreign passports, valid foreign passports, templates, about 1,000 main ones. A person cannot remember the structure of defense, structure of protection for each passport, and those defenses evolve over time. So the only outcome is use AI. Now, we are moving forward. We are trying to think up ways of using these technologies to hack, and we are trying to think up antidotes. Sometimes we guess, sometimes we don't. Some technologies have not yet found the demand for them. Yes, maybe not yet. Yeah, maybe they will become part of the global immunity. Yes, we've got this experience as well. And if we talk about the vaccines, just be vigilant. It is completely correct to say that fraudsters are generally very good practical practitioners. If you are in any doubt whatsoever, you must interpret it only one way. If you are in doubt, don't do it. And then there's another way. I got this one call, a spoofed number. I spoke to some colonel. And when I got tired of the conversation, I told him, why don't I call you back to this spoofed number? I did. I got the call through to the public call center of the Ministry of the Interior. I go, shall I write an application? Come on, we've got millions of those. Digital hygiene. Okay, number one, never share with anyone digital copies of your documents. You can upload the digital copy to the banking app, but only the verified channels. There is nothing unexpected that a bank can do. I've never heard anything that was unexpected in the bank's activities. Bank is always ahead. If you're doing a transaction and the bank asks you to verify the transaction, there was some action that caused the verification request. And again, you might call the bank back. A simple rule. Yeah, the first piece of advice I generally give: just hang up. Yeah. You said that you had a nice conversation with the guy on the other end. Am I correct in saying that we better not aggravate those guys, better not irritate them? Well, I knew this fraud scheme, and as a professional, I found interest in trying out this experience alive. But I must say, you need to understand that I earn a living off this. I use this as a case to collect information. What you, as a layman, need to do is hang up with the phrase, "I'll call you back." Don't be rude, don't anger the caller. Well, again, also, if you talk with them, you give them the food to create a deepfake of your voice. Yeah, there's a type of psychological profiles. Well, they probably did the psycho profile of you, but the longer you speak with you, the better deepfake will be of your voice. Hang up, call the bank back, log on the official application, ask the support service, the security of the bank, and as likely as not, the problem will be resolved very quickly. And with the directors calling in the middle of the night, there's actually new scenarios. Orders signed and sealed are getting sent. And we use those orders with great happiness to collect the data sets. Yeah, a question on the future. What is the security officer of the future? What does the security officer of the future look like? The knowledge of technologies, toolkits, AI, a must? I'm phrasing it very generally. Will that be a must? Yes.
What do we need to know? Because we have been working with various experts from various industries. Some say you need coding, or you need to know how to code, or like what skills do you have to have? Well, security in your classical sense is everything that you see with your eyes. It's the same with law enforcement agencies. You know about those who you see. You know, those who patrol the streets or stop you on the road, but you don't see half of the people who work in law enforcement, who protect you and who work on the cases, and they do not have a uniform. The same with the security, you know, you can have this old understanding of security, like you are being checked at the entrance of some building, and this is the security, the classical security. But obviously, without the technologies and without the coding, the security will not survive, because knowing, I mean, the experience and the skill set that you should have, we should be a very diverse skill set. That's the security organization that should have, and they should work with all the other services, and should be physical security, cybersecurity, and other things. So you cannot just put a barrier and that's it. You know, you cannot just say to a person, no, you can't do this, and that's it. You have to explain why, and this is how cybersecurity will develop. You asked about the skills and AI skills. Now, yes, I've said that already. This is one of our major components, because there was a lot of information, too much information. A security expert will not be able to process all that, and AI helps us here. And they kind of nudge us to some conclusion and some insights. And AI is not only for security; it's for everyone. And all of our tools, that we integrate them in the Sberbank Online app. Look at your phone, and what are you going to do? I will put my finger, I will put it to my face, and what will happen? It will identify me based on biometrics in the majority of the cases. And, you know, I've said, it's not by accident that I've said that the majority of identifications are happening based on biometrics. There's a law that protects the biometric data, and a common protection system that will protect us from deepfakes. So the state is spending quite a lot on that and investing a lot of resources in that, and that's protection. And by protection, I mean processing big data. We're creating our digital image with biometric data, and there's a dedicated law to protect that and to regulate the use of biometrics. So having the hygiene and if you do not know how to talk with fraudsters, do not talk with them. Yes, and this hygiene is a pretty hard habit to integrate into your life. The skills of cybersecurity officers, as well as the mundane users of the banking apps, what skills do we need? And these three top jobs in cybersecurity that will emerge in the nearest future, thanks and maybe under the pressure of AI. And what technological shifts can we expect due to this technological revolution? Right, if you talk about the jobs, some new jobs, I don't think they will emerge. I don't think they will appear, but the fact that the jobs and the professions will shift dramatically is true. You have to have knowledge, deep knowledge, and the skills to use the tools, and you have to understand how these tools work. So the employees, the cybersecurity officers, should have AI skills. But there are usual traditional fraudsters and criminals. They're still there. I mean, they forge documents, and I mean, you need to have the skills to understand whether the document was forged or not. The profile of the job will change. The job description will change. I don't think there will be new jobs here. What about you, Kirill? Maybe some professions will become outdated and obsolete, and some will appear. Well, you know, based on the topic that we have discussed, I would say that someone who monitors the AI application will be the new job, might be the new job. Why? Because we have it in our team, and based on my experience, I think that humans need humans. So the machine can translate emotions, but you have to have a human connection, you know. Yes, fully agreed with that, to make sure that the level of our resistance can be checked. We will launch 2 audios right now, and we'll be able to, and we should say where is the real voice of the presenter and where is the deepfake. We took a real script of real fraudsters, and let's look at the screen. Hello, I call from the administration of Podolsk city. We are checking the registration of the residents. You have to confirm your information. We also have the information on your utilities debt, and you have to pay off this debt immediately. Hello, my name is Elza. I'm a manager of Sber Bank. We have seen some suspicious activity with your account. There are transaction requests from Tanzania. We need to discuss these security measures. Well, the second is a fake one. You sure? Because I think that both of them are fake. Maybe it's like the second one. I mean, there are kind of intonation some there. Bank from the transaction from Tanzania. Well, Tanzania is a friendly country. No, I don't think it's too exotic, really. If you talk about the content, the second one is just makes no sense. If you talk about the intonation, the tone, the first seems robotic, but it can happen. Well, you are professionals. You don't need any AI and any deepfake protection software. Yep, you took it. Yeah, you made the right choice. Our presenter made recorded the first text, by the way, and you were able to discern it that the first one was a human voice. I have a microphone at home, so I, made the best effort to sound as robotic as possible. But the guys were able to understand that that was not a robot. Anyway, the last question, basically. Given the development of AI, among fraudsters and among those who protect us from those, will it be easier for us to live in the future? Or the AI and the key technologies of related to AI are managed mostly by the people who protect us from it? Well, the second option is going to be better because we are the ones who work with AI better. My forecast is negative. With such volume of data, there's no problem to improve deepfakes and to perfect them, and this deepfake technology, the image generation technologies will become better and better. The neural network is a universal approximator. They will be able at some point to make a very good distribution of the pixels to build an ideal face, the voice. I mean, they can generate the deepfake voices right now. So with the current way the things are unfolding, the forecast is negative. Something has to change in our reality to offset this negative development. Well, we have different opinions. I don't think we will vote, me and you, right? We're just presenters. So I'll just say that you are to decide, dear viewers. You have to build your intellectual hygiene, to build some skills, and we'll have some pause. Yes, and put your savings in Sberbank.